Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
I am turning 61 in 2 weeks.
All right. That sounds exciting.
Happy early birthday.
And I have been good with my money all along, but I have failed to have a retirement fund. And I'm wondering at this point what I can do so that I can retire maybe at 67.
All right. Okay. So we're working with 6 years to retire, and you have zero. George is going to walk you through this, but just a couple quick questions. You have zero, or you have very little, or you? What's the real here on retirement?
I have no retirement fund, but I have cash, and I have no real debt. The only debt I have is about $9,000 that I took out a 0% interest loan and did some updates on my house.
Okay,
sure sounds like real debt to me.
Well, yeah, that. But other than that, I have no debt.
What kind of cash do you have?
About $200,000.
And what's that sitting in?
A couple bank accounts.
Okay.
Just in checking accounts or normal savings accounts? Are they making 0%?
No, they're making a little bit. There's a couple of them in savings, and then some of it's just cash.
Okay, so we can get that money invested working for you at least. What is your income?
I do childcare. It varies every year, but around like
57,000. Okay. And do you have any pension or anything like that? Any other retirement income we should be aware of?
Nope.
Okay.
I have a life insurance, a small life insurance policy. That's all I have.
Okay. And are you living alone?
Yes.
All right.
Right now, my 19-year-old is away at college, but I mean he'll be here when he's not at college.
Okay. And are you a homeowner?
I own my home. Yes.
It's paid for? No mortgage?
It's been paid for no mortgage.
Good. What's that worth?
I'm thinking around $280.
Okay. And what are your monthly expenses? Have you added this up to see, here's my monthly budget, here's what I need to live?
My monthly expenses are about $1,675.
Okay, great. So here's some good news. You don't need a lot to survive. Now, I don't know what your retirement plans are. I don't know if you had big dreams. We might need to change that picture based on the reality of where we're at.
Right.
But based on my math, you're going to need, and this is not including health care if there's any other needs you have, but you're talking about $20,000 a year is what you're going to be spending.
Okay.
So here's the good news. If you put the majority of your savings into the stock market, into a good growth stock mutual fund or an index fund, you would see on average over, the next 20, 30 years in your retirement, 10 to 12% return. Which means you put $200 in, on average, again, not every year, you're going to see $20,000, another $20,000. And so that gives me some hope that you're not going to be out on the street. But we're also not going to be eating out and going on vacations. This is going to be a bare bones retirement.
Okay.
Now, if you could invest a big portion of your income, now that you have a paid-for house, how much could you invest every month from your income? Could you do, let's say, $2,000?
Every month?
Yes.
Probably not. I could probably do $1,000.
Well, you told me your expenses are about $1,600. You're taking home probably close to $4,000, right?
Yeah, it just depends on the time of the year. During the summer, I make a lot more because I have way more children, and then.
Well, Ken can help you fill in the gaps of income. But if you have stable income, you could invest $2,000 every single month from age 61 to 67. You'd likely have around $200,000 sitting in that investment account.
Okay.
So that is one option on top of the savings you have, putting that into the market. I also would recommend you sit down with a financial advisor and actually crunch these numbers, and they'll walk you through to make sure you're understanding where you're putting this money. I don't want you to do it because George said or Ken said. I want you to do it because Amy understands.
I guess I've always, and that's kind of why I haven't done. I just don't understand any of it, and I've always been afraid of it, and I've watched too much American Greed. So,
well, I keep thinking of this line for you. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The best next time is today. And so I know
Right.
you're 60 and you feel behind. There's probably some guilt that you could have done more, you should have done more, you should have been investing. But I'm telling you, it's not too late to have some dignity in retirement, but it starts today. We can't have the
Right.
excuse any longer of, well, I just don't know what I'm doing. Ignorance was bliss until this call.
Okay. Yep. I get it.
Now let's talk about that seasonal income gap. What are you doing in the wintertime? What changes that you don't have enough work?
I have more. I do childcare, and so during the summer I get a full house. I have all the kids from school age children. So I have 12 kids all summer long.
Mm-hmm.
And then during the winter, kids go off to school, and I tend to have less. And this year I chose to have a few less because I took my first grandbaby. I'm watching her, and with a baby, it's just a lot more work. And so I've had less children during the years. But
Yeah.
I
Are you
do
getting
not
paid to
just
watch the baby, or is this just grandma stuff?
Partially.
Okay. So what would be
Not a lot.
So let's say, just for sake of numbers, okay, let's say that there wasn't a drop off between the summer and the rest of the year. How much more additional money would you make over and above the $57,000? What do you think that number would be if you just had the same amount of kids all year round?
Probably a good another 20, 30. I don't know.
Yeah. So that's the thing I want you to think about. George has done a great job laying out, okay, what you need to do. And here's the deal. That $200,000 is something to build on, plus your existing money as you're putting in $1,000 a month. But I want to challenge you to just believe what you just said. Let's just round down. Let's say you did something to go, okay, I'm going to be more aggressive in talking about it. There are parents everywhere around you who would much rather have their child with you. It's probably even more affordable than what they're looking at in the marketplace. There's no shortage of children who need to be watched. So with a little bit of aggression, more intentionality, letting people know, let's say you were able to make an additional $20,000 a year over the next 6 years. Okay? That's a lot of money, George, coming back to your calculator. She can now put maybe $3,000 a month away, and all of a sudden
Changes your retirement drastically.
it changes it.
And you
So-
might need to work until 70.
That's right.
You get to retire when the numbers say you do, not when you just decide. And so jump on to RamseySolutions.com, get in touch with a SmartVestor Pro. They can walk you through the investing portion. And this is going to take work. And you got to remember, inflation's going to be kicking your retirement in the pants. So you got to get on top of this thing and start investing instead of just saving.
But George and I we really believe, Amy, you can do this. I think this is extra income, and I do think this is tightening of the expenses as well, and you can get there.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.